Hey there guys, welcome to the next video here on the Ducttapestuff channel. I've got a really exciting video planned for you today. So a few weeks ago I got a request on how waterproof is a duct tape wall, and this is a pretty appropriate request considering summer's just getting started. A lot of you are going to be going to pools, a lot of you are going to be having water gun fights in your backyard, water balloons, picnics. It's a lot of fun, and that water plays a huge part in summer. So this is a pretty appropriate request considering the time of year right now. So to find out just how waterproof a duct tape wallet is, I devised a series of tests to really put a wallet that I made to the test on how waterproof it is. So without any further ado, let's start the tests. Hope you like the video. So hello there and welcome to test number 1. This test is going to involve a giant bucket of water to see how waterproof a duct tape wallet is. Now let me first start by introducing you to our guinea pig. This wallet was specifically made just for this test and is a simple bifold wallet, blue and electric blue, and also has 2 credit card holders as well as an ID slot. So without any further ado, let's go to test 1. So here we go with test 1. I have my giant bucket of water here pretty much filled to the brim, and we're going to see how waterproof a duct tape wallet is. Okay, to come up with a scenario for this test, let's say it's 4th of July weekend, much like it is right now, and you're at a pool party at your friend's house. You're just walking around the pool having a great time when he asks to see your duct tape wallet, which you happen to have in your pocket. And he looks at it, thinks it's really cool, but then he says, well, let's see if it's how waterproof it is, and without any warning, chucks it in the pool. Now obviously you're probably pretty angry at your friend, but at the same time you're probably pretty curious how well is your wallet going to hold up and how waterproof is it. So let's find out here with this bucket of water. Alright, so here we go. Now basically this wallet has 2 credit cards in it, which I showed you earlier, as well as a little bit of cash, so we'll get to see just how wet this is going to get. The first thing I'm going to do is going to set it on top of the water, and in the second test I'm actually going to drop it in. And this actually brings up another very interesting test, and that is the question, will it float? We'll soon find out. Here we go. So laying it in. At the moment it's just sitting on the surface. I think it might be sinking, mon capitaine. I don't know. I don't know if you can see it, but the bottom part is actually kind of sinking down in. Got a bubble. I don't know. It looks to seem to be floating pretty good. Let's see if I can tap it a little bit. No, it actually seems to be doing pretty well. Now it's a little bit underneath the surface, but it's still staying there right at the surface though. That's great. Okay, so we have the first test. Number 1, it does float. So obviously the cards are okay, because if you have any cards like that are plastic, if they're completely made out of plastic, they're not going to be affected by the water at all. So your ID, gift cards, credit cards aren't going to be affected, but obviously the cash will be because it's paper. So I don't know if you can see here, but they aren't actually that wet. Parts of it are actually still dry, which I don't know if you can kind of see there on the camera, but parts of this are actually still dry. It's kind of just splotches on there. So let's replace this with clean bills, and then we'll actually do the drop test. So here we go with the next one. So now we're going to go with the drop test into the bucket of water. Now this would probably be more along the lines like if that scenario that I told you, if your friend did actually throw it into a pool, it would probably hit with a little bit of an impact. So going from about 3 feet up here, I'm just going to drop it in. So 3, 2, 1, Geronimo. Splat, and it hits the water. That was probably a belly flop. I can pretty much guarantee it. So you can see it's kind of sinking down with the bottom part of the billfold there. But it's still floating, even with a little bit of, of impact when it hit the water. So let's take it out again. Let's see if I can drop it from about, let's say about 5 or 6 feet up. Let's try it again. Still hit that water, another belly flop, but it's still floating. I can't believe this. It's just crazy. Okay, so we've definitely proven that it will float even after a little bit of an impact. And let's see how wet the bills are here. So let's take it out of the water here, shake some of it off. I'm guessing that the bills are probably going to be a little more wet on this one because I did do it twice. I don't know, there's still, right there, it's still dry. They're a little bit stuck together, but they're actually not as wet as I thought they would be. I thought they'd just be kind of like a totally soaked rag, but they're not actually that wet. You can kind of see there are some splotches in there where it isn't wet. So that concludes the bucket test. Let's move on to test number 2 here. All right, so for test 2 here, we're going to see if water soaks into duct tape over any length of time. So to do this test, I'm going to use my stopwatch here, and we're going to put some water on top of the wallet, and we're going to see after 3 minutes or so if any of the water soaks in at all. So I'm going to use a time lapse here, so we're going to be speeding up a little bit. So but if you do see any of the water start to disappear or anything, it could be either evaporating or it could be actually soaking into the tape itself. So let's put some water here on the cover of the wallet. Make sure that it's flat so it doesn't roll off. So hopefully you guys can see all those little water drops on there. We'll start the stopwatch and then we will go into time lapse here. So let's see if it soaks in. Okay, well, I don't know about you, but I didn't see any of that water soak in at all. So let's take some of this water off here. Let's see how the designs are holding up, because there isn't any clear tape or anything on top of these designs. So they seem to be pretty stuck down still after all that water being, trying to get underneath it and everything. So test 2 conclusion, water definitely does not soak into duct tape even after 3 minutes or so. I assume it probably wouldn't be the same even if, if you let it go for a little while. So that's a conclusion for test 2. So now let's move on to test 3. So welcome to test 3. Now I wanted to make test 3 really awesome, and I really wanted to go out with a bang here on the how waterproof is a duct tape wallet video. So I decided to whip out my old Super Soaker, and we have our guinea pig strapped there to our tripod here like a target range, and we're going to see how well that thing can handle some Super Soaker action, which you see right here. But anyway, I was thinking, this thing, it's a great Super Soaker and all. I used it when I was a kid, but it's just way too small. Let's go with something a little bit bigger. Wouldn't you say? Yeah. We're gonna wrap up test 3 with some really, really awesome stuff. So let's go here with test 3 with this major Super Soaker. So here we go. So now we have the aftermath of test 3. I think it went pretty well. I think we really super soaked this wallet here. So I pretty much was hitting it from the front. That's where a lot of the blast was coming from. So I'm pretty sure the bills inside are probably still pretty dry. So let's fix that, just a little bit. And now we'll see what it looks like. So when we take it off the tripod here, just had it duct taped to the back. Shake some of that water off. There's a lot of water in there. And let's take a closer look here how wet the bills are. Believe it or not, they're like half wet and half dry. So yeah, they're a little stuck together, but still usable, So like set these on the clothesline or just out in the lawn here, and they'll be good as new in no time. So that pretty much concludes test 3 and the final test of the how waterproof is a duct tape wallet video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So as you saw, I put that wallet through some serious tests. I mean, in test 1, I used a bucket of water to figure out how wet the wallet would get, dunked it in there. The bills got a little soaked, but they weren't too bad. And we also figured out that a duct tape wallet floats. In test 2, we figured out that no water soaks into a duct tape wallet. No water gets absorbed in any way after a period of time, which is really cool. And in test 3, I obviously went all out with the Super Soaker, just going crazy with it, just spraying that wallet with all kinds of super soaking power, and obviously it held up pretty well even after getting hit with a decent amount of water. So Hope you guys enjoyed this video on how waterproof is a duct tape wallet. I think we pretty much answered the question. Yes, a duct tape wallet is pretty waterproof and will definitely hold up to some serious abuse by water. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you next time.